1970s gave us timeless soul, fearless funk, and grooves that still move the world. But not every record from the era was universally loved. Some songs were overplayed, some crossed into novelty, some confused audiences, offended purists, or arrived at the exact wrong cultural moment. These tracks didn't fail because they were forgotten. They failed because everyone heard them, too much, too often, and sometimes for the wrong reasons. Critics rolled their eyes, DJs took heat, fans argued, laughed, or rushed to change the station. These are the most hated R&B and R&B-adjacent songs of the 1970s, records that sparked backlash, controversy, and endless debate. But here's the real question. Were they truly bad or just misunderstood? Let's start the countdown. Number 12, E-I-E-I-O by Joe Tex. Funk meets farm animals. By 1977, Joe Tex had already earned his place as a Southern soul heavyweight, known for gritty storytelling and playful swagger. Then he released E-I-E-I-O and left a lot of listeners scratching their heads. Yes, it borrowed the cadence of a children's nursery rhyme. Yes, it layered disco funk grooves under farm animal sound effects. You made me a promise and you're gonna stick to it. And yes, the chorus repeated E-I-E-I-O like it dared radio to take it seriously. Some fans laughed, others were confused. Program directors didn't know whether to spin it for comedy or pull it entirely. For soul purists, it crossed the line from playful into novelty. You try to sneak by me now, didn't you? Landing squarely in "what were you thinking" territory. To be fair, Joe Tex always walked that edge between humor and soul. This time, the joke overshadowed the groove. The record never fully recovered from the novelty label, even as collectors later embraced its oddball charm. It's the kind of track you hear once, shake your head at, and remember forever. If that one felt bizarre, the next song was hated for being too sweet. I'll teach you to play with my affection. Number 11, Afternoon Delight by Starland Vocal Band. Too sweet for soul. When Afternoon Delight by Starland Vocal Band exploded in 1976, it was a crossover juggernaut. Soft harmonies, cheery melodies, thinly veiled innuendo wrapped in sunshine. On pop radio, it thrived. On R&B stations, it confused people. We can make a lot of loving for the sun gone down. Soul and funk fans found it bland and out of place, especially in a decade dominated by grit, groove, and emotional weight. Started out this morning feeling so full like I was. The playful metaphors about daytime intimacy felt corny, almost juvenile, next to the raw honesty of black soul records ruling the airwaves. Listeners complained, DJs fielded angry calls, yet the song kept winning. Afternoon Delight hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab some afternoon delight. And even earned a Grammy. That only deepened the resentment. For many in the R&B community, it became a symbol of how mainstream pop was crowding out deeper, more authentic soul music. Over time, it turned into parody fuel, mocked, referenced, and joked about endlessly. And if this one felt like cotton candy overload, the next track crossed into full-on absurdity. Number 10, Muskrat Love by Captain and Tennille.
We performed this song at the White House.
When Soul Said No. Muskrat Love by Captain and Tennille is one of those songs people still ask about in disbelief.
Muskrat saying, Do the jitterbug at it.
Released in 1976, the track tells a love story between two muskrats, complete with squeaking synthesizer sounds, meant to mimic rodents falling in love.
Nibbling on bacon, chewing on.
Cute on paper, strange in execution. When the song started creeping into R&B and soul-adjacent playlists, listeners were confused and,
Sam is so skinny.
in many cases, offended. This was the era of deep funk, emotional ballads, and social commentary. And suddenly,
They whirl and they twirl and they tango.
DJs were expected to spin a song about animals cuddling. Many soul fans felt it cheapened the space. DJs openly refused to play it. Others spun it once, just to prove a point, then never touched it again. Despite the backlash, Muskrat Love became a commercial success.
As they wriggle.
Climbing into the pop top 5. But popularity didn't equal respect. Within R&B circles, it became shorthand for everything wrong with soft pop crossing into soul territory. Today, it lives on as a curiosity. Not hated because it failed, but because it didn't belong. If that one made you shake your head, the next song didn't just confuse listeners, it made them uncomfortable.
And they whirl and they twirl and they tango.
Number 9. Yummy 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 by Ohio Express.
Sweeter than sugar. Ooh, love, I won't let you go.
Bubblegum gone wrong. Yummy 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 by Ohio Express technically arrived at the end of the 1960s, but its heavy rotation
Funny, but I love honey, and honey, I love you.
carried straight into the early 70s. And that's when the backlash really kicked in. Built on a looping hook and candy-coated vocals, the song was catchy to a fault.
Satisfied. Love is such a sweet thing, good.
Once it crossed over onto R&B and soul-leaning radio formats, many listeners felt it crossed a line. What sounded playful
I love to hold ya, I love to kiss ya. Oh, love.
to pop audiences felt shallow and disposable next to the depth of soul music dominating the era. Critics and fans alike called it repetitive, childish, and more like a jingle than a song. Some went as far as saying it represented the watering down of radio playlists at a time when soul artists were pushing emotional
Yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy and silly.
and musical boundaries. Still, the record was a massive hit, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and that was part of the problem.
Yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy that you love.
It wouldn't go away. Love it or hate it, Yummy 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 proved that sometimes a song becomes infamous, not because it fails, but because it succeeds too loudly. If that one felt like sugar overload, the next track divided listeners with pure theatrical drama.
Living in love like peaches and cream.
Number 8. You Don't Bring Me Flowers by Barbra Streisand and Neil Diamond. Drama overload. When You Don't Bring Me Flowers arrived in 1978, it was impossible to ignore. Two powerhouse voices, Barbra Streisand and Neil Diamond, locked into a breakup duet that felt bigger than life. And that was the problem. As the song crossed into R&B slow jam rotations, many soul listeners felt it leaned too far into theatrical melodrama. Every line stretched, every note lingered. To critics, it sounded more like Broadway heartbreak than lived-in soul. Some listeners loved the raw emotion. Others reached for the dial, calling it overproduced, overly polished, and emotionally exhausting. On Black radio, phone lines lit up, half asking for it again, half asking DJs to move on. Despite the pushback, the song hit number 1 and sold millions. Weddings played it, breakups claimed it. But within R&B circles, it became shorthand for pop ballads that felt emotional without sounding soulful. If this one felt too dramatic, the next track was criticized for doing the opposite, softening everything in sight. Number 7. You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone, when soft pop took over. When You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone dominated the airwaves in 1977, it wasn't just a hit. It was inescapable. The song sat at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 10 straight weeks, crossing into R&B adjacent playlists along the way. And that's where the resistance began. To many soul fans, the track felt too clean, too gentle, too polished. Debbie Boone's voice was pure and pretty, but lacked the grit, groove, and emotional urgency that defined 1970s R&B. At a time when artists like Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder were pushing depth and social truth,
I love you, never.
This record felt like inspirational wallpaper. Critics argued it helped usher in a wave of soft, inspirational pop that crowded stronger R&B records off mainstream radio. DJs complained it was overplayed. Listeners groaned when it came on.
Waiting for someone to sing.
Again. Yet the irony remains. The song won a Grammy, an Oscar, and became one of the most successful singles of the decade, loved by millions.
Rolling at sea.
Resented by soul purists. If this one felt too gentle, the next track went in the opposite direction. Pure disco excess that made R&B fans roll their eyes. Number 6. Boogie Oogie Oogie by A Taste of Honey. The groove that wore out its welcome. When Boogie Oogie Oogie by A Taste of Honey dropped in 1978, it hit like an earthquake on the dance floor. That bass line was undeniable. The groove was infectious, and for a moment, disco ruled everything. But that moment didn't last for everyone. As the song climbed to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and crossed into R&B charts, Backlash followed fast. Soul fans complained it felt repetitive, mechanical, and hollow. Critics called it disco by numbers. All rhythm, no heart. By the late 70s, disco fatigue had fully set in, and Boogie Oogie Oogie became a lightning rod. DJs were pressured to keep spinning it.
Listen to the music and let go.
While listeners begged for something deeper, something with more feeling. Still, history complicates the hate. The record sold millions. Opened doors for women in funk and disco, and remains a staple at roller rinks and throwback parties. You may hate it, you may love it, but once that bass line starts, your body still reacts before your brain does. If this one felt like disco overload, the next song crossed from annoying into full-blown cringe. Number 5. Young Girl by Gary Puckett. And The Union Gap, the one that aged horribly. Originally released in 1968, Young Girl by Gary Puckett and The Union Gap kept getting airplay well into the early 1970s, especially on crossover and late-night R&B stations. And that's where the trouble started. Musically, the song had all the drama radio loved. Sweeping arrangement, emotional delivery, a hook that lingered.
get out of my mind.
But lyrically, it made people uncomfortable even back then. A grown man pleading with an underage girl to stay away. That didn't sit right.
Get out of here before.
And time only made it worse. As the song crossed into black radio rotations, the backlash grew louder. Many listeners called it creepy, tone deaf, and wildly inappropriate. DJs took heat for spinning it. Critics questioned why it was still being played at all. Today,
My love for you is way out of line.
it's mostly vanished from nostalgia playlists, not because it wasn't a hit, but because its message feels impossible to defend. It stands as a reminder
You're just a baby.
that not every song ages gracefully. Some don't just feel old, they feel wrong. And if that one made you uneasy, the next track confused people in a whole different way.
Wonders where you are.
Number 4. Run Joey Run by David Geddes. Soap opera on vinyl run.
Never seen him act this way. My God, he's going.
Joey Run by David Geddes is one of those records people remember, even if they wish they didn't. Released in 1975,
She ran to me with tear-filled eyes and bruises.
this song tried to squeeze an entire tragic movie plot into under 4 minutes. Forbidden love, an angry father, a gunshot,
No, it wasn't his fault. He means so much to me.
and a young girl narrating the fallout. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't restrained. It was melodrama turned all the way up. As the record crossed into R&B-adjacent radio rotations during the crossover ballad craze, many soul listeners were baffled. The spoken word intro, the shrill teenage narration, and the overcooked emotional swings felt more like daytime television than rhythm and blues. DJs joked about it.
He says he's gonna make you pay.
Listeners complained about it. Some stations played it only for shock value. Yet somehow, despite the backlash, it cracked the Billboard Top 10.
Every night, the same old dream. I hate to close my eyes.
Proof that controversy still sells. Today, Run Joey Run is remembered less as a love song and more as a cautionary tale. What happens when drama replaces groove and storytelling forgets soul? If that felt like emotional overload, the next record sparked anger for a very different reason, trying to fake funk instead of earning it. Number 3. Do You Think I'm Sexy by Rod Stewart. Disco without the soul. Do You Think I'm Sexy by Rod Stewart hit in 1978 and immediately split the room. On paper, it had all the ingredients: a slick bass line, a 4-on-the-floor disco pulse, and enough groove to keep dance floors packed. But for many R&B and soul fans, something felt off. This didn't sound like funk that grew out of lived experience. It sounded like disco cosplay. At the height of the disco boom, Stewart pivoted hard from raspy rock singer to nightclub heartthrob. Critics accused the record of trend hopping, chasing black club culture without understanding its roots. Some listeners went further, calling it a parody of funk rather than a contribution to it. The backlash didn't stop its success. The song shot to number 1 in multiple countries and became one of Stewart's biggest hits. You couldn't escape it. Radio, clubs, TV, everywhere. Years later, even Rod Stewart admitted he regretted the track. In R&B circles, It became shorthand for disco gone wrong, a reminder that groove isn't just a beat you borrow, it's something you earn. If fake funk rubbed people the wrong way, the next song divided listeners even more, because it was either heavenly or completely unbearable.
Let's spend the night together. Now hold on a minute.
Number 2, Loving You, by Minnie Riperton. Beautiful or unbearable.
Is out of love and you.
When Loving You by Minnie Riperton was released in 1975, it stunned listeners instantly. That opening hush, the birds chirping,
Ooh, I'm more in love with you.
then Minnie's voice rising into a whistle register that felt almost unreal. For many, it was breathtaking. For others, it was torture.
No one else can make me feel the color.
The backlash came fast. Critics and listeners complained the song was too high-pitched, too fragile, too repetitive. The chorus loops endlessly.
La 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 la. Doo doo doo.
And for some years, it felt like a lullaby that never quite ends. Radio DJs joked that it cleared rooms as quickly as it filled them. Yet here's the contradiction. Loving You hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of the most recognizable songs of the decade. Minnie's vocal control wasn't a gimmick. It was technical mastery. That whistle tone inspired generations of singers, from Mariah Carey
Just a dream come true. And everything that I do.
to modern R&B vocalists who still chase that level of precision. So why the hate? Because the song demanded patience. It didn't groove, it floated.
Time, 'cause loving you has made.
And in an era defined by funk, grit, and emotional punch, some listeners simply didn't want to be that gentle. Love it or hate it, Loving You
Time, 'cause loving you is easy.
is unforgettable. And if this one divided the room, nothing caused more backlash than the track sitting at number 1.
That you bring. Stay with me while we.
Number 1, Shake, 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 Shake Your Booty. By KC and the Sunshine Band, disco's breaking point. When Shake, 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 Shake Your Booty by KC and the Sunshine Band took over in 1976, it became impossible to escape. The title said it all. Simple lyrics. Relentless rhythm. A chant built purely for movement, not meaning. For disco fans, it was a party starter. For many R&B and soul purists, it symbolized everything that went wrong with late-era disco. Critics argued the song stripped black dance music of depth, replacing groove and feeling with repetition and novelty. It felt mechanical, shallow, and endlessly overplayed. Yet the numbers told a different story. The record hit number 1 on both the pop and R&B charts, blasting through clubs, weddings, roller rinks, and radio stations worldwide. Love it or hate it, it worked. And that's why it became so polarizing. To some, it marked disco's peak. To others, it marked the moment the genre lost its soul. Even today, the song is often referenced as a punchline, shorthand for excess and overexposure. But when that beat drops, feet still move.
Shake, shake, shake your booty.